In today's breaking story, a major conservative paper just betrayed Donald Trump, leaving him absolutely furious. That's right, Donald Trump's morning is not off to a very good start. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, Donald Trump is an absolute disaster, and as this government shutdown rages on, we're seeing more and more fire from the Democrats.
You're not going to talk.
Wasted.
You're not going to talk to me.
Wasted
You're not
on
going to talk to me
fraud
and talk
and
over me
non-New York residents
because you don't
getting
want to
paid.
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm
So
listening.
why don't
Go
you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed
that-
up.
is that the way to
you
talk?
showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on
bill,
for this. You can extend it
a
right now.
permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of
So
Americans.
they can get a permanent extension.
90% of
but
Americans
working
take the
class
standard
Americans
deduction.
can't?
And this is why conservatives are consistently getting called out left and right, even sometimes on conservative outlets.
Former Congresswoman, Democrat Katie Porter, she's running for the Democratic nomination for governor out in California. She says private planes are still going. They're benefiting, that the president's, quote, billionaire friends are still flying. So can you clarify for us what's happening with the private industry?
Sure. Well, first, Katie Porter is a hack. That's not what happened. In the order, we reduced general aviation or jet travel by 10%. But what we've also done is said, you know, if we have a staffing trigger, I think Nate was at LaGuardia or in Newark. We have one in Newark this morning. If we have a staffing trigger, there's going to be no jets flying into Newark. We prioritize commercial aircraft. Now, if there's a space to fly in with general aviation or a jet, we'll allow them in.
Senator, it's worth noting that 80% of these subsidies are actually going to help people who live in states that President Trump did win back in 2024, including 300,000 who live in Oklahoma.
In my state.
Yes. Right. Should those 300,000 Oklahomans be prepared for their subsidies to skyrocket or to potentially lose coverage?
Yeah, we're trying to find a way to be able to help. But again, remember, this is not the Obamacare subsidies. This is on top of the Obamacare subsidy. This is the bonus COVID plan that Democrats put in place in 2021 that they had expiring this year because they literally said this is a COVID plus up during the healthcare emergency. What we're saying is if we're going to get back into healthcare again, why are we talking about $40 billion just for that group? I've got 300,000 Oklahomans that are receiving those subsidies, but I've got 4 million Oklahomans total that are struggling under the high cost of health insurance. What are we doing for that?
I think the question...
Yeah, I don't know. What exactly is Trump doing? Oh, that's right. He just gave $40 billion to Argentina. But now a major conservative publication just betrayed Donald Trump, and he's absolutely livid. That's right. Take a look at today's top story. President Trump is now facing something he has always feared, a rebellion inside his own base. And this time, it is not coming from liberals, Democrats, or MSNBC. It is coming from the very heart of conservative media. The same voices that once defended him relentlessly are now turning on him publicly, loudly, and in unmistakably brutal terms. Two major conservative institutions, the Federalist and the Wall Street Journal, both pillars of mainstream MAGA-aligned media, issue damning critiques of Trump within hours of one another. And their message is clear: Trump looks weak, out of touch, and increasingly unable to lead. Sean Davis, co-founder of The Federalist and a longtime loyal Trump defender, unleashed a stunning condemnation of Trump and the Republican Party. Davis has spent years advocating on Fox News and conservative platforms for the Trump agenda, but this weekend, he sounded the alarm. He argued that Republicans have no accomplishments, no plan, and no vision. He called the party directionless and warned that voters have no reason to show up for them in the 2026 midterms. More importantly, he singled out Trump himself, saying Trump looks weak and rudderless because he has no message for the millions of young Americans who cannot afford housing, healthcare, or a path to the middle class. Davis said the party has lost touch with the people it claims to represent, and that unless Republicans wake up, their political nightmare is only beginning. This isn't fringe criticism. The Federalist has been one of the most dogged pro-Trump media institutions in the country. When that voice cracks, It means something inside the movement is breaking. Then the Wall Street Journal's editorial board delivered its own blow. Trump floated the idea of sending $2,000 tariff rebate checks to voters, a desperate attempt to soften the fallout from the skyrocketing prices caused by his own tariffs. But the Journal pointed out the obvious contradiction. If Trump's tariffs are helping the economy, why does he need to bribe voters to offset the damage? They argued that Trump is trying to hide the fact that his trade war is raising prices for American families, and that he is now scrambling for political cover as the Supreme Court considers whether his tariff powers are even legal. The editorial board called his strategy a classic political gimmick that exposes the weakness of his economic agenda, not the strength of it. These two critiques, coming from two of the most influential conservative media voices in the country, tell a larger story. Trump's support among the Republican base is not collapsing from the outside. It is fracturing from within. Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.